Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 22nd edition of the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. Today, we have a very special speaker in Mike Chapman. Thank you, Mike, for being here. I've known Mike for 20 years-ish, and he knows everything you would ever want to know about health insurance for job seekers. Very knowledgeable, and I am a client as well, so I'm a big fan. So, Mike, thanks for being here. All right, diving in. Please note, as usual, this event is being recorded. By being here, you agreed to be recorded. We will be uploading this to the Career USA YouTube channel in the next day or two. As a reminder, our fearless leader, Jeff Morris, created this group a long time ago. And he also moderates the careerdfw.org and careerusa.org websites. And he wrote an awesome book, Your Job Search. I have a copy. I've read it. It's very good. Check it out. And since 2017, has also been a member of the PIC group. And if you were here last week, he actually presented last week. So his recovery is going very well. We were very, very excited. We had a cancellation, and he said, "Hey, I'll do it." And so Walt moderated and he presented, and it was flawless. It was really, really nice to see him back in form. All right. In the meantime, Walt and myself are interim leaders of the group, but we'll be happy to give the reins back when Jeff is up to it. I am a technology executive, IT VP director type person. I'm also in the job search just like you, and I'm offering dinner for two to anyone who gets me a lead that lands me a job, and I will pay. I have in the past. Walt, you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Walt Glass. I'm an interview success coach. I am retired, and I volunteer to help people with their interviewing skills. I'll tell you more details about the interview success workshop later.
Thanks, Walt. All right, usual agenda: success stories, job leads, 30-second intros, committee reports, and then a main event, Mike Chapman. All right, success stories. Who's landed? I see donuts. Awesome. Come on up and tell us about it.
Hello, this is Jason Morgan. Let's see. So I just landed a job and accepted an offer on Wednesday. So I was scheduled to do for the PIC crew on Wednesday. Well, okay, let me see. Tuesday I took Walt's class, and then later that day I got the offer. So I don't know if there was something there, but let's see.
We'll give him the credit.
So let's see. My job search started in beginning of September. That's when I started applying to jobs. This particular job I found it's either on LinkedIn or Glassdoor.
Can you get a little closer? There you
go. This job I found it was either on Glassdoor or LinkedIn. I applied on September 19th. I did not hear from, first time I heard from them was on October 11th. It was an email from them asking that I answer some essay questions and give a cover letter with kind of my work history narrative. So I answered those. The following week, October 21st, I received some assessments. One of those was a personality assessment, kind of along the line, the presenter that was here a week or two ago, something like that. And then also one was kind of an analytical, I thought of it like an IQ test, sort of.
Predictive index or?
I don't remember the name.
Okay.
Maybe so. But, so I did those. November 12th, I got a call. An email to schedule a phone call with the hiring manager. So I talked with him on November 14th for about 30 to 40 minutes. That was enough for, I guess, he was trying to decide whether to bring me in for a in-person interview. Scheduled that for the next day on Friday, November 15th. So I talked in person with the hiring manager for about an hour, then met with the team, which was about 4 people in the office right now, and then met with the CTO. And then following week, so that happened last Friday, and then I got the offer on Tuesday night.
Awesome.
Accepted it Wednesday.
Awesome. And
what's
the title?
I'm a product owner. The company is the reason I came today, it's in the insurance field, so topic here was good. I'm like, I want to learn all I can on the
Perfect.
topic.
Perfect.
There's an entity that sits between insurance agents and the carriers called the FMO, Field Marketing Organization. That's what this company does. So I get to learn a new field too. That's a bonus.
Which one?
It's called Agility Insurance Services.
Product.
Product owner.
Very good.
And you start,
And I start Monday. They've had they're building the team. There's other people that just started. So I told them, yeah, I'll come in as soon as you can because all of the other people are learning. It gives me, I can learn along with them. So that was good. And the big bonus is it's 1 mile from my house.
woo,
It's
man,
just crazy.
that's awesome. Anyone you want to thank?
Oh, yes, everyone here. Let me see. I worked on the resume for the first, when I got my notice, I spent 2 weeks working on our resume. So I kind of had that. When I started applying and interviewing, I was trying to remember when I started coming here. I think it was in early October. One of the first times I remember, first big interviews I had, I started coming here, so I crammed a bunch. I went and watched, I don't know, at least half of the 13 videos in the series on the interviewing that were done. And of course, I've seen more as we went. So I kind of started incorporating a lot of that from the get-go. One big thing that I remember on one of my interviews that helped me was the closing questions about, is there any hesitation on selecting me? How do I compare to the ideal candidate? Not on this particular job that I just accepted, but on another one. I was at the end of the interview and I was asking one of those questions and the hiring manager said, well, if we did this and blah, 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 and I asked another question, but then it turned into, well, the next thing that we'll do with you is a panel interview. I just noticed that it changed. I thought it changed from if to, something clicked.
When?
So, yeah, it came, and they did schedule another interview with me, but this one came first and this is the one I wanted more. So that worked out.
Awesome.
Any advice to job seekers?
What the question was. Oh, Walt was asking any advice to job seekers. I would say continue, follow the advice that they've done here. There's tons of interview information, and that I'm still working on that and it's incorporating that. There's a lot to learn there. All the classes on LinkedIn have helped me improve my profile there. Because I learned something here at class one day, went and found a mistake I had made, and that following week I got hits from recruiters finding my job profile. And I think it was because of the change I had made as a result of one of the classes here. So the information has helped.
So what was the change?
That's
Right?
On mine, I went and did a search for myself like I thought a recruiter would. Looked for product owners in the Dallas area. And okay, there's all the pages, and then I start scrolling through trying to find, well, where do I rank in the list? And I figured out I wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
And so then I spent a day or so trying to figure that out. I had product owner listed multiple places in the profile. I did not have it written out in the about field. Once I put it in the about field, now I'm in the results.
Oh, really?
And then the next day I got a call from a recruiter that found me on LinkedIn.
No kidding.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Any other questions?
I think they'll do it.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Jason.
All right.
To be online, just let you know that we'll be enjoying the donuts that Jonathan Lawrence.
And I'll throw in one of the best ways to see what you look like to everybody else is to look at your profile in an incognito window. Don't be logged in as yourself. Pull up an incognito window, go to LinkedIn, search for yourself, and then you'll see what everybody else is seeing, which is a little different. All right, anyone online? All right. Job leads, are any of our recruiters online today?
Yes, Elise and I are on this morning with TEG. Happy to be joining. Again, for those of you who don't know, We're a recruiting firm in the DFW area focused in accounting, finance, HR, and IT jobs, perm and contract. Elise works on that Fort Worth side. Now we're on the Dallas side, but happy to be a connection on LinkedIn. And yeah,
And TEG stands for?
Thomas Edwards Group.
There you go. And do you want to provide a contact or a phone number?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put it in the chat. We'll put our contact information so you guys can get connected with us on LinkedIn, or send us an email.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We always appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Elise is online. Hello, Elise.
I am also here. As Tracy mentioned, I'm on the Fort Worth side for Thomas Edwards Group, and I will drop my information in the chat as well. Happy to be here.
Wow, we got both sides of the Metroplex represented from Thomas Edwards. Thank you both for being here. All right, actually 3. Okay, time for introduction. So if you are online as usual in the Zoom chat, please give us your name, position, email, LinkedIn, city phone, and 2 or 3 of your target companies. We will start with the folks in the room. So if you would, as usual, line up in front and we will get the ball rolling. Yep. We will ask for your name, what you're looking for, which is just your job title. Don't need your background at this point, and where you need contacts, and if you can help where you have contacts at, and then very important, repeat your name at the end slowly. All right, Mike, how you doing?
Morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I'm looking for a VP or a senior director of role of product management. So I need contacts at my target companies include Keurig Dr. Pepper, as well as Frito-Lay. So I have contacts at Walmart and Accenture. So my name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you, Mike.
The camera's working here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I hate being on camera.
Oh, you're good. Safe space.
My name is Jennifer Bunch. I'm a certified Microsoft administrator with many years, beginning with HP and EDS. And most recently, the last 5 years with Microsoft and then with McAfee Enterprise in the customer support role. And that's what I'm looking for right now, but I'm also searching for IT system admin role. I need contacts at L3 Harris. I met with them Frisco had a very large employer gathering last week or the week before. There weren't any positions open with L3 Harris, but I'm also looking at Collin County government and the city of Frisco, and basically any federal job, if there are any after administration starts. I have contacts again at HP and what was EDS, and my name is Jennifer Bunch.
Thanks, Jennifer.
My name is Jason Morgan. I have contacts at Motorola Solutions. And this is Jason Morgan.
Thank you, Jason. Congratulations again.
Hi, my name is Eric Sokolowski. I'm a accountant and banker. I have career income of $1.5 billion and $50 billion in syndicated assets under management. My name is Eric Sokolowski, looking for contacts at Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. Thank you.
Okay, for those of you that are on the line, I'd like to have you unmute yourself, and there's an outline. Go back to page, I think, and that you can follow, say your introduction to the group. So we'll start with David Ramirez Lopez.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is David. I'm an IT network engineer. I'm looking for a role either as a network engineer or IT support analyst in the DFW area. My target companies are American Airlines, Charles Schwab, and Sabre. My name is David.
Thank you, David. Miguel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a director or VP finance. FP&A is mostly the space I focus on. Need contacts at General Motors, Toyota, and Walmart. So I know Mike just mentioned Walmart, but I don't know your last name. And I have contacts at American Airlines and Amazon. So David, my information will be in the chat. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Thanks, Miguel.
Belzil is his last name. And Miguel, what was that last target you had?
Toyota, General Motors, Walmart.
Do you know Anthony Autry?
I don't.
He's a member of the group, and he's been with Walmart many, many years.
Okay.
So
Great.
look up Anthony Autry, and if you have problems finding him, let me know, and I'll hook you up.
Great. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Deanna, good morning.
Get myself off mute there. Good morning, everyone. I'm Deanna Huckabee. I'm a Learning and Development Director and looking for work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or remote-based opportunities. Target companies are KPMG and McKesson. I do have contacts at IBM, PwC, and Deloitte. Again, Deanna Huckabee. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
Wow, sorry. Yeah, this is Michelle Hawk. I've got 15 years experience in accounts receivable cash posting under the accounting finance group. I am also got 3 years of dental insurance verification. I recently also got the medical billing and coding certificate. I am looking for contacts at CVS, and I believe Jennifer Dutch, if I can get in contact with you, I believe you can help me on this. Now I know CVS is going under changes, and I may have to be going to Amazon Pharmacy or going into Walmart Pharmacy, but I'm in pharmacy distribution as well. I'm looking for also companies like Kings 3 and ADT Securitas and security systems. I've got 8 years in that. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I'm looking for something in Irving, Coppell, South Lake, and Las Colinas. This is Michelle Hawk. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Michelle. Noah, hello, Noah. Welcome back under these circumstances.
Good morning. My name is Nola Larson. I'm looking for a learning and development specialist role, primarily training. Right now, I need contacts at Corpay, and my name is Nola Larson.
Thank you, Noah. Paul.
Good morning. My name is Paul Hunter, and I have 15 years of program project management experience. I'm a certified advanced Scrum Master in the Safe Agile methodology. I'm in the Dallas area, and some of my current company targets right now, Globe Life. I just submitted an application at Globe Life, McKesson, Capital One, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. I do have potential contacts at CVS Health. I was just laid off from CVS Health, so some of them may or may not still be there. My name is Paul Hunter.
Thank you, Paul. And now from the one person who knows how to speak English correctly, Peter Watson.
Wow, very low-key introduction there. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Peter Watson. I'm a project and or services delivery manager looking to work remotely or Plano and surrounding cities. Some travel's fine. I just don't want to commute an hour into town. I have contacts available at Ericsson, Verizon, mostly on the wireless side, and Tempest Telecom. I'm looking for contacts at Altice in Plano, where there seems to be some contract available, and also Frontier. I am Peter Watson.
Thank you, Peter. Rosina, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Rosina Gallman. I am your Career Tip of the Week host. I am currently looking for a senior talent acquisition consultant or senior recruiter position, and I have contacts in a variety of different companies. So as I hear them, I'll reach out to those people directly. I'm currently looking for contacts at Delta Dental, Unum Dental, Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, Walmart, either the corporate office in Bentonville or the Texas home office in Carrollton, and ADP. Again, Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Consultant or Senior Recruiter.
Thank you, Rosina. Roshan. Good morning, Roshan.
Hello, good morning. I'm Roshan Lewis. I'm a product management leader with expertise in fintech, financial services, cybersecurity, and fraud prevention. I'm seeking senior product management roles in my target industry being payments, insurance, banking. I'm open to mid and large size establishments. My target companies are JPMC, Citi, the big banks. I'm also interested in medium-sized companies like Alchemy, Block, Shift4. Walmart Tech is also one of the good ones. Synchrony, Marqeta, and I'll put my information in the chat. My name again is Roshan Lewis. Happy to be here. Good morning.
Thank you much. And good morning, Mr. Boudreau.
Good morning, Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning Inventory Management. Looking for a supply chain job in central New Jersey or remotely, specializing in inventory control or production planning. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Thank you, Scott. Sherry.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cherie Medors. I am currently a certified Scrum Master looking for a Scrum Master position. My target companies happen to be Blue Cross Blue Shield, PNC, Bank of America. However, I'm open to all in the DFW area. I do not have any contacts right now. Again, my name is Cherie Medors, and nice to meet you all.
See if I can get that right next time, Cherie.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, Casey. Casey. Okay, Yuffie, is that right? Is that how you say it?
Yes, I am Yofi Honey. I just graduated with a bachelor's in computer engineering. So I am looking for jobs under those titles. FPGA engineer, electrical engineer, software developer. And I've applied to a lot of companies, including L3 Harris and Lidos. And yeah, I'm Yufi Honey. Thank you.
What school did you go to?
I went to UNT.
Well, congratulations on your graduation. Good job.
Thank you.
Is anyone I left out? I think we got it all covered.
All right. Thank you, Walt. All right. Today, after the meeting, we'll be meeting at Jason's Deli for more informal networking. So join us after the meeting. And now it is time for Rosina's Career Tip of the Week. Rosina, that's your cue.
Too funny. It's funny about this mute button. It disappears on me sometimes.
Darn that mute button.
I know. Well, good morning, everyone. Rosina Gallman, your Career Tip of the Week host. And this week's tip of the week is how to rehearse for a job interview. Because we've been talking about different type of questions to use, such as behavioral-based interview questions and competency-based interview questions. But now, how do you use them? And how do you prepare for your job interview? So, first of all, this article is by a company called Top Interview, so at topinterview.com, and the article is written by Carson Kohler. First thing she says is don't step into your next job interview without practicing. Practicing makes perfect, right? Exactly. Practice really is the most essential step in mastering a job interview. It'll help you prepare answers to common questions and make you feel confident and comfortable in front of the interviewer. But what's the best way to rehearse for a job interview? Follow these surefire strategies below to aid your job interview practice. First, you want to do your research. Before you rehearse for a job interview, take plenty of time to research the company, the position, the interviewers, and the industry. This is a surefire way of being able to impress, and you'll feel a whole lot more confident walking into an interview. So to prepare, follow, and they have a link to this pre-interview checklist. It looks very good. So take a look at that and download it. And so there's a couple of bullet points that she mentions. First, you want to brush up on your basics. Spend time on the company website. Look up the company's most recent 10K annual reports if it's a public company, and check Crunchbase if it's a startup. Next, you want to check on social channels. Start with the company's LinkedIn company profile, then peruse Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and other platforms. Note shared articles, customer interactions, and thought leadership content that can help you that you can utilize later. Next, you want to Google them. Find recent press releases, articles, and interviews that feature the company and its key executives. If you want, set up Google News alerts so that you'll see when the information is published about the company. And then next, you want to search online reviews. Start with Glassdoor and see what previous and current employers say about the company. Employees, excuse me. And then likewise on reviews, you'll also want to take these with a grain of salt, but you can find some good insight. And as you do your research, take note of key players, top values, company culture, and recent news. Use this research to help inform the way that you answer your questions, as well as questions to ask in your interview. And that's another link in the article. Next, you want to practice on your own. Now it's time to rehearse. So it may feel strange at first, but start by practicing on your own. Here are some tips to make sure or make the most of practicing for your interview on your own. Prepare a list of interview questions and answer them out loud. If you know what type of interview you're walking into, such as a technical interview, case interview, stress interview, or etc., then you can prepare the answers for those type of questions. And if you're not sure what type of interview you'll have, practice answering a mix of questions. You can probably expect at least 1 or 2 behavioral-based interview questions, and if not more. Interviewers love asking questions because they're designed to gauge your past experience and what your future performance may look like. Practice answering these questions using the STAR method. When interviewers develop behavioral-based interview questions, and there's a link there in the article, they often do so with specific competencies in mind. Attached with this article is an extensive list of competency-based interview questions sourced from Google to help you get started. And there's a link here in the article as well as it's attached in the article itself. Next, you want to record yourself during the job interview practice. Once you start feeling comfortable answering these questions aloud, record yourself. This is particularly helpful if you have to prepare for a virtual interview coming up. To record yourself on video, you can use your camera app on your phone, or you can use Photo Booth on Mac or QuickTime Player on Windows. Once you've practiced interviewing and answering questions, take a moment to watch the video back. Make note of your eye contact with the camera, facial expressions, posture, hand gestures, and voice inflection. Also note any verbal tics, including like, basically, I mean, or so. Watch and critique yourself like an interviewer, then record another round using these notes. Next, you want to ask a friend or family member to help with your job interview practice. You can also ask a friend or family member to help you as you prepare for an actual virtual interview. Have a friend hop on a Zoom call with you and then send them a list of practice interview questions to ask. After a few questions, seek their honest feedback. Of course, this won't be a professional feedback, but it is if they notice any common slip ups or mistakes. Sometimes you don't see everything, so they can let you know. Next, you want to recreate the job interview setting at home. As a practice for your job interview, do your best to recreate the job interview setting at home. Wear your interview outfit, yes, even if it's a virtual interview, and sit at a desk. If you have a virtual interview, sit where you plan to do the interview and note any background noise or potential distractions. Next, you want to practice with a professional. Practicing for a job interview by yourself, with a family member, or with a friend will only get you so far. You might benefit from working with an actual professional interview coach as well. A professional coach will have insight into what employers actually want. For instance, top interviews professional coaches have spent years as HR directors and recruiters working on their side of the operation. Plus, after a mock interview, they'll provide personalized feedback and critiques. You can ask specific questions, seek feedback on how to answer particular questions, and gain insight to avoid common interview mistakes. So, in summary, it's no secret practicing for a job interview is essential. Before you dive into rehearsals, do your research, and then you want to walk into an interview armed with as much information as possible. Once you've got what you need, practice. Record yourself or tap a friend or family member to play the interviewer. And if you want more professional feedback, seek out an interview coach who will give you professional feedback so you can walk into or sign into your interview with confidence. Want to rehearse with a professional interview coach? Learn more at topinterview.com about their online coaching sessions. And then with that said, as a reminder, for free, we always talk about there are 2 practice interview resources which we introduce at each career DFW event. First is the Pit Crew. For details, you can visit DallasPitCrew.com. And then the second resource is the Interview Success Workshop by Walt Glass. And for details, he has all of his information in the About section on the Walt Glass LinkedIn profile. Second, please note that Career DFW does not endorse or promote the sign up of any membership, subscription, or service. We are strictly just sharing information produced by organizations to educate the job seeker community as a way to assist you in part of your job search strategy to find the people, information, and opportunities to land your next career. We encourage you to seek, research, and use information on your own from a variety of resources. And then third, please use the actual URL in this article and click on all active links within this article to have full access to hidden information contained behind the scenes. There is a wealth of additional resources behind each link. So I hope you guys enjoyed the article. It is how to rehearse for a job interview. Have a fantastic weekend and a happy Thanksgiving holiday next week. Take care.
Thanks, Rosina. As always, appreciate it. And as usual, I'll include the actual article and the link to the article in the follow-up email after the meeting. All right. Speaking of Walt Glass.
Well, greetings again, everyone. Walt Glass. Step 3 that was mentioned was practice with a professional. And so to become a professional, I had to develop a certification course in interviewing. So I put it together myself. It took me 3 times to pass the test. It's quite expensive, but now I'm a self-certified interview success coach. I have done over 1,100 interviews and helping people learning how to sell themselves. So my workshop is a learning experience. You also get interviewed, and every time you interview, you will get better. But the focus is on learning more than it is on grading how you did in the workshop. Jonathan went to it yesterday. Talked to him. If you really know what happened and what's going on, he has the scoop, the real scoop. So the interview success workshop is free. I offer it on Tuesdays 9 to 11 on Zoom. I want to do 1 or 2 people at a time. And as Rosina said, check the about section. It has the details of the workshop, how to register, etc., so that you can participate. Send me that note and I will tell you some availability dates. I happen to have an open date on Tuesday, the next Tuesday, and the following Tuesday, before Thanksgiving. Be glad to have you participate. Send me that note. The idea is this: you do a lot of work when you're looking for a job. You start with that resume and you spend tons of hours on your resume. So we got to get our marketing materials ready. So that includes LinkedIn or business cards or bios and things that we want to prepare. And then we've got to search out for companies. We've got to search out for connections and contacts with that. And then we finally get the interview. After all that work, we don't want to blow it. We want to do a really good job of differentiating ourselves. And I claim that if we are able to sell ourselves by who we are, what we do, and how we can help, we will positively differentiate ourselves from other candidates in interviews. That's what I define as a successful interview. Whether they choose us or not is not the answer. Did we do a good job of selling ourselves is the question. So I'll be glad to have you participate. Send me that note and I'll get you signed up. Online interviews have exploded, now since there was COVID. Well, the workshop provides interviews decoded, and our landings with donuts will be noted.
Awesome. Thank you, Walt. All right. Pit crew. Who's talking about pit crew? You or me?
I suggest that after you find the fundamentals and learn that you go practice with the pit crew. How many practice do you think it takes before you gain confidence? Gaining confidence is a major objective, because when we have that confidence, we can now demonstrate high interest, motivation, excitement, energy, enthusiasm. And I ask people, what's the difference? How does that enthusiasm and interest show up in decision making? And most people, I've never heard of anything less than 50% of the decision is made by a person's enthusiasm. So how do we get there? Well, we practice, all right? You want to practice with professionals. We got 3 people in the room. I'm a panelist. Matt's a panelist. And we have Eric as a new panelist. We're always looking for panelists for the pit crew. So what does the pit crew do? It is a formal mock interview. You provide your job description and your resume to that dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. If you'll click it one time, that'll circle that. Matt, send that to us, and we will assign people to interview you. The panelists do 1 to 2 hours worth of research. We look you up on the job description. We look you up on LinkedIn. We'll look at your resume. We'll look at the company target that you have. Now, you don't have to have a specific. You can submit a sample job description. Say, here, I just need to practice for that. We need to know that. That'll save us about 45 minutes or so in researching the company for you. We won't have to ask you the question, what do you know about our company? But send that in. And our objective here is the same thing as the workshop, is to help you gain confidence, help you gain those skills. So what are the important elements of that interview? You're going to get honest, upfront feedback. You get it from the interviewers, you get it from the participants, because you can come and be an observer in the group and watch the interviews. There's still a lot of learning there, but at some point in time, we're going to have to do it. Knowing what we've got to do is one thing, and doing it is another. So I welcome you to go to the Dallas Pit Crew. So it meets in person in this room. It's at Christ United Methodist Church. You see the address here. same room that we're in right now, on every Wednesday except the fourth Wednesday, which is online, which allows people from out of the DFW area to also participate. We had a lot of that before. It was all online once COVID came, and now we're meeting back in person. Be glad to have you participate in that.
Thank you, Walt. All right, it is now time for the main event. Mike Chapman is here to give us a healthcare update for 2025, given that we are in open enrollment and all that good stuff. Mike is a subject matter expert, consultant, and public speaker on Obamacare, also known as ACA or the Affordable Care Act. He provides information, solutions, healthcare, insurance, and employee benefits. He is awesome. I've known him for a long time. And he's not just a good resource of information. He's I'm actually a client of his. 2 success stories. I once discovered way too late that I had something about to expire, and this man actually met me at a coffee shop at 10 o'clock at night to sign some paperwork before midnight. Second is, last time I was in transition, he got real creative, and he helped me avoid COBRA and saved me a bunch of money. So I can't say enough good things about him. Mike, thank you again for being here.
I'm also a fan of Mike, so I'm telling you, he knows his stuff.
Okay, thanks, Matt. It's a real pleasure. I grew up in the Catholic faith, specifically was trained or brainwashed, depending on how you look at it, as in the Jesuit order. And they have a saying of, if you believe in God, and the Jesuit community, their motto is being a man of others. And for my corporate life, which was 21 years ago, I wasn't able to do that. Fortunate to have scratched out and mastered, in my estimation, humbly, a very challenging field, because healthcare and insurance is one of the most constantly changing, over-regulated, politicized, polarizing subject that you could think of. But I want to first make you understand that this is I'm going to make this interactive. So if you would please put in the chat, I don't see the chat, but if you would please put in the chat any questions that you want to make sure that I address, Walt and Matt will raise them and I'll make sure to cover them. But I'm going to talk about today, and not only plans for people under 65, but also 65 and what you can expect next year. There will be a number of changes, some of which I'll address, but I'm going to make some of that short so that I have time to answer your questions and make sure that you're getting as much out of this. And this will be recorded on YouTube, as I understand it, so you'll have the benefit of that. I'm also a licensed insurance broker in 17 states. And by the way, I came up through Career Connection and South Lake Focus Group and all the groups. And I've known Walt for, 20 plus years, and Matt for at least that much. So, I'm blessed to have been able to give back through the years, and through the time stumbling through learning and keeping up with the changes. I'm now one of the top 10 agents in Texas for both plans through the Affordable Care Act and Medicare. And I also speak publicly all the time on healthcare issues, which are every bit as challenging. Now, here's my value proposition. I can help people get hired faster, reduce their cash burn rate, because as you know, health insurance can cost as much as a house payment or more, or car payment, certainly. And, I support people, I answer questions. This time of year, I'm on the phone constantly because it's open enrollment for Medicare and my small group clients, as well as Obamacare. So, but I have learned a rule that, and you should remember this too, another tip for you is answer every phone call on the first ring. answer every text as soon as you hear it beep in your pocket. Why do you want to do that? You never know who's on the other line. And the other thing, as far as my field, I'll answer questions that you didn't know to ask, because I study this stuff. I live, eat, breathe, and sleep this. And because I'm a commission only guy, there's no additional cost for this. And whether you end up being a client or not, I'll put my contact information, or this isn't the selling, this is to help you get hired faster and learn things that will save you money either now or in the future. Now, if you've been in any job networking group before, you've heard we're all in sales, right? Well, here's another thing to remember. We're all self-employed, right? Whether you're W-2, 1099, no income, we're all self-employed. And in addition to presenting yourself properly and learning LinkedIn and careers, remember that an independent salesperson knows that the best use of time is not wasting this valuable time in the middle of a job search on low value tasks. And that really applies to healthcare and insurance. You can waste a lot of time. And I know, especially the more quantitative folks, and I talk to people all day long, they want to get down into the details and try to understand, just know that every time, all the time you could be putting into that, could be going into that job search, which will land you a month or 2 months or 3 months sooner. And what happens then? You're with a company that you like, that has benefits, and the employer is paying at least 50% of the cost of your health insurance and has other benefits. So the more you can cut out all the other stuff that takes away from that, the faster you're going to land, more money you're going to have in the bank, and the less you're going to pay for insurance. Now, in terms of healthcare, we are at a critical stage in this country. We've got over 11,000 people every day aging into Medicare, and baby boomers like myself. And I think Walt's a baby boomer. He's younger than I am, but we're all getting older and decrepit. We're spending, a lot more time on our health and more health issues. At the same time, baby boomer doctors and nurses are retiring. At the same time, our kids are having fewer kids, so propagation isn't happening. So encourage your kids, because they're paying for all of our Social Security and benefits. And, isn't it great to have grandkids? Those of you, wouldn't it be great if those grandkids could support your Social Security and all these other benefits? Well, it's not happening. So give them some more emphasis. Where are these grandkids coming from? Seriously, over 66% of what we spend as a country, and we spend more than any other developed country, and I'm blessed to show for it, is due to preventable lifestyle related diseases. And that's not new, but it's happening now with kids. Okay, it's an issue with kids, and that has some long-term consequences for us as a country. Now, let's talk about financial risk. Okay, as a result of all this, we're going to spend more money on healthcare in the future. But the more that you are employed, the more time you are employed, the less you're going to spend on insurance, and the more money you're going to have over. So remember, job search and landing is your focus. Return on investment, return on time invested. Now, I'm going to get into insurance with that little, pulpit speech. Usually when I present, at least half of the audience has been on employer plans, or maybe their parents' plans, for those of you that are younger. And this is the first time that they've been spit out and have to look for insurance on their own. In Texas and in most other states, there are no PPO plans like employer plans. So you have to be very careful which plans and which networks your doctors are in, especially if you have a pre-existing condition or require the care of a specialist. Individual plans, remember, it's based on your age, your actually your zip code and county, and it has a higher risk factor. So the plans that are available through the Affordable Care Act and most alternate plans have much higher out-of-pocket maximums, deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance, blah, 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 versus what you would have with an employer plan. And the employer plans has to, by law, pay at least 50% of the premiums for the employee only. They don't have to pay for dependents, although many do. And many employers, especially in a hot job market like DFW, know that to provide, capture top talent and keep them, they have to offer more than, they have to subsidize more than 50%. Now, for plans through the, I'm going to talk about not only plans through the Affordable Care Act, but other options for you. How much you pay for insurance for you and your family, it's a function of your dates of birth and then your taxable gross income. So anybody that you plan on putting on your tax return for 2025, 2024 doesn't count. And also your home zip code and county. Some counties are more competitive. Dallas and Fort Worth, every insurance company is trying, it's growing like crazy. All these people from California and New York, and 20 years ago it was from Ohio and Michigan, like me. It has made it a very competitive market. The rates for many plans in Florida, I'm licensed in Florida, I can tell you this, they're twice as much. Okay, it is. So you have regional variations. And also, this is a year-to-year purchase. As the rules, I can tell you for a fact, all the rules, regulations, and plans change every year. And there's going to be dramatic change next year.
Mike, I have a question.
Yeah.
You may be covering this a little bit later, and so I'll cover it then. But one of the things for those of us over 65, how we pay premiums on, I don't know about those under, it's a thing called IRMA.
Yes.
And that IRMA is an adjusted rate, how they calculate your premium. The question I have is, why is it 2 years ago that they used the number for this year for your premium? Like when I retired, my premiums went up when my pay went down, right? And so I'm not sure why they used 2 years ago.
Well, the short answer to that is when the Affordable Care Act was passed in 2013, the about $6 billion was transferred from the Medicare Trust Fund to pay for the Affordable Care Act, healthcare.gov plans. And as a result, Medicare would have been bankrupt within like a year. So both sides of the aisle came together and said, we have to do something about this. So they instituted a tax known as IRMA, IRMAA. And those of you that are approaching 65 or already 65, you should know that it's based on it's a rolling 2-year average of your household adjusted gross income. You sell a house or you have a capital gain or a short-term gain, that can trigger IRMA, or it could be based on maybe a bonus you received on your way out. So over time, that will, and the thing is, it was passed because the way it was ginned up in Congress, they said it would only impact about 6% of Americans. So, only 6% of the voters would be upset about it. So I think it was passed on a Friday and just glossed over in the news media. But there is some inequities of it to IRMA. And over time, you can appeal IRMA, IRMAA, under certain conditions. I'll be happy to go through those. But yeah, it can impact people. It can also lead people to stay on an employer's plan rather than go on to full Medicare, because it's taxed on the, I'll get in Medicare in a minute, but it's, if you can stay on an employer plan, you just sign up for A and it doesn't impact you. But so if you're a high wage earner, then you can avoid a couple of years of IRMA, and that tax penalty for higher tax brackets can be over $500. a month. Now, let me go back to the Affordable Care Act. There's no out-of-network coverage in Texas and most states. Oklahoma has some PPO plans, but most states have no PPO plans. And this is probably new for all of you. So travel may be an issue, but it's important to know if your doctors are in a network, if you have an issue. Most plans are HMO, and those plans usually require referral. And then knowing that your doctors and also local hospitals and urgent care centers could be critical. Now, just like a job, all right? Don't go around saying the world owes you a living or an employer owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. Mark Twain, I love the guy. What a humorist. So you have to take healthcare, forget insurance. You have to take your own, be responsible for your own healthcare. Now here's where I'm going to go into some interactive, because this is probably the most important slide, and it has all kinds of implications for you. Your adjusted gross income estimate for 2025, this year doesn't count, for your entire household, in other words, everybody that's on your tax return, determines how much you pay in premiums and your plan's out-of-pocket medical expense risk. And just so you know, the early years of the Biden administration, Congress passed an extension, an additional tax credit. And those tax credits are set to expire January 1st, 2026. But they're locked in for 2025. What does that mean? If you have been holding off on getting a knee replaced, hip surgery, anything major that could cost money, man, talk to your orthopedic surgeon, get it done in 2025, because there's no guarantee that the additional tax credits and also the out-of-pocket subsidies will be there in 2026. This is the slide I want to spend a second on. And this is the federal poverty guide. Yes.
Before you move on, obviously you're talking to some folks that are unemployed, and so how do we estimate what our gross income is going to be for 2025, not knowing whether we're going to have a job in January or March or?
Exactly. I feel like Johnny Carson getting a question like that from Ed McMahon. I'm gonna talk about that. I'm going to give a live example.
Okay, perfect.
Because there are ways you can get if you know how to work the system. And again, this is your own taxpayers' money coming back to you. Okay, so take advantage of it while you can, especially in 2025. Your adjusted gross income estimate for 2025.
Let me get you to put that mic a little closer.
Oh yeah, sure. Can you hear me all right? All right, I'll try not to spit on that. Even if you have no income, there are ways, and I'll explain this, how you can work the system to your advantage. All right, here's the tax bracket that determines if you're eligible for premium tax credit. First of all, there are inflection points here at 100% of the federal poverty level, at 150%, and then 400% of the federal poverty level. Now, here's the simplest example I'm going to use. 15,060 is a federal poverty limit for a household of one, and that's a taxpayer household. Household of two, 20,000, et cetera. Why is this number important? In those states that did not expand Medicaid, including Texas and about 20 other states, there is no premium tax credit below 100% of the federal poverty level. Also, if you have children under the age of 19 in Texas and in other states that did not expand Medicaid, under 150% of the federal poverty level, any children below the age of 19 their application would go to CHIP in Texas, which is Children's Medicaid. So that's actually a very good program and very affordable, but it's a different network of doctors and hospitals. So that's important. But let's talk about this for a second, 100%. What do you do if you don't have income coming in, right? And I talk to people every day that, I talked to some people yesterday, no income. They can't say, they don't have anything concrete to estimate that. Well, this number is by the end of the year 2025, okay? So if you estimate 15,060, but you don't have a concrete source of current income, whether that's unemployment, royalties, W-2, 1099, you have to identify real income. How do you do that? Well, you may have money in a 401k, right? A 401k, you could identify when you apply for a premium tax credit that you are going to live on income by either taking money out of a 401k or converting it into Roth. And I'm going to talk about that. And by the way, let's talk about this person here, 15,060, right? Let's say this person takes $15,060 out of an IRA or 401k. What do you suppose that tax bracket is and how much money is that? It's a 10% in 2025, 10% tax bracket. How much tax do you think that is? $6. $6 because of the deductions, right? Now, what do you think that premium tax credit is worth? Over $7,000. Okay, so this is one of the key strategies that they don't tell you.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, if you convert money, well, let's talk about not a Roth for a second. If you need money to live on, or if you decide to take money out of a 401k, that generates taxable income. You will pay a penalty if you're under 60? Under 59? You're the tax expert.
59 and a half.
59 and a half. But that tax penalty is not very much money, especially at a lower income bracket. So you can generate a premium tax credit that is worth about $7,000 it's worth about $7,000 for a male at the age of 50. You may be younger than that, you may be older than that, but that's just an average, okay? But this is a tremendous bonanza and boondoggle, if you will, that may not be here in 2026. Now, what does that provide for somebody that, take the average example, a male age 50? I'm a little bit older than 50, but you can use your own imagination. 15,000 at 15,000 of income, by taking money out of 401k, you'd pay about $6 to $7 in federal income taxes. Other states, you might have state and local income taxes, and you may pay a 10% penalty. That's you would receive $7,000. Over $7,000, it's like $7,400 of premium tax credit that will cover all of the cost of a bronze plan at healthcare.gov. So it's like, it's a no-brainer if you have money in a 401k. Now, you don't have to do that. You don't have to withdraw the money until mid-December of 2025. You just have to estimate that you're going to live on that money during 2025. Furthermore, if you decide to convert to a Roth IRA, you have which you should do this year, by the way, if you can, and talk to your financial advisor, because taxes are never going to be lower, right? When you're in transition. So by converting money into a Roth while you're unemployed and have low income at a low tax bracket, that means you'll never pay taxes on that money in the future, and you won't pay a penalty. So by converting to Roth, that money can then grow tax-free until you want to use it in retirement. But in addition to that, from the plan standpoint of plans through the Affordable Care Act, you have just gotten to where you need to be in order to qualify for a premium tax credit. That's huge. Now, furthermore, at 100% to 150%, not only do you receive a premium tax credit, but you're also eligible for what's called cost sharing. And that cost sharing is if you select a silver plan, that cost sharing will subsidize your out-of-pocket expenses, your deductibles, your co-pays, your co-insurance. So instead of a $9,200 out-of-pocket maximum, which you would have with a bronze or gold plan, if you're in this range, 100 to 150%, and you select a silver plan, yeah, you may pay $100 or $50, depending upon the plan you select, but you've just got a plan with a super low deductible, lower than you're going to get as an employer. And guess what? If you need a hip replacement, surgery, imaging, and you've held off on that, the government's just subsidized all that for you. This is the time to do it in 2025. And this is the stuff that you don't read about and strategies that I want to emphasize. I mentioned children, under the age of 19. Maybe you have a household of 4, 2 kids, Ozzie and Harriet family. I just dated myself with, if your income estimate is below 150%, then you and your spouse would qualify for coverage, but the children, their application would go to CHIP, which is Texas Medicaid and other states that didn't expand Medicaid. And then that would, their application would be either approved or disapproved by CHIP. It's taking more than 90 days before you get a decision from CHIP. But you can, if they're not accepted, then usually they will, but if they're not accepted, you can add them back to your plan retroactive to when your plan goes into effect. And beyond this, it's a sliding scale. The more you make, the less of government taxpayer money. And beyond this, there's no cost sharing subsidy of your out-of-pocket expenses. So here's how you can manage, your return on time invested. You're thinking about tax strategies at the end of the year, or you should be. Roth, think about it. Think about how that impacts your health care, because you can get stuff subsidized if you know how to play this game right. Now, what happens if you make more than you estimated? That's good. That's good, right? We're still in a country that making more money is a good thing, right? I hope so. But again, if you're making more money, maybe you're employed. And at year end, you don't have to convert money from a Roth, right? You don't have to convert money into taxable income. So you can wait until December to make that decision. But in the meantime, you've cut your cash flow, your cash burn rate. You've gotten great coverage. You have all your surgeries subsidized. It's a great opportunity that's going to be here in 2025. Any questions about that? Any questions coming up? I just put them to sleep. Okay, now.
Oh, I have a question,
yeah,
Mike.
absolutely.
So if you get a job, at that point, do you cancel the insurance through the marketplace?
If your employer offers a health plan, and there may be an eligibility period, you may not be eligible for 2 months from the first of the following month or less. Yeah, you'll want to cancel it. You want to cancel that and dump it as soon as you can. But the premium tax credits are only for the months that you're on the plan. So let's say you get a job in March, April, you've had 3 or 4 months that you've received the premium tax credit. You just don't want to forget that at the end of the year, or actually in April of 2026, when you go to pay your taxes for 2025, you true it up on a couple of tax forms, one of which you receive from the insurance company. The other is Form 8962, and there's a reconciliation there. If you end up making more money, which I hope you do, then you have to pay some of that tax credit back. If you make less money, then you'll actually get an additional tax credit to help pay for your taxes. But at a lower income rate, there's not a lot of taxes there. It all depends on your tax bracket. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, I mentioned that. Okay, also, if you are pregnant when enrolling, you're, and I'm not going to get pregnant. You may think otherwise, but it's not going to happen. You would go into Texas Medicaid. It has a different network in Dallas. Parkland is one of the foremost obstetrics and childbirth facilities in the country, teaching hospital. JPS in Fort Worth, similar. There's similar hospitals all across Texas and other states. The other thing, I have a number of clients who have maybe from Asia or Europe or Canada who have aging parents that did not work enough months or years to qualify for Medicare. But they too, if they move in with their adult children or assisted living close by, they can qualify for premium tax credit and a plan through the Affordable Care Act, as long as they have they're a legal resident. Now, here's some other important things. If you don't have a premium tax, if you don't qualify for a premium tax credit, no income, no money in a 401k, then depending upon your age, if you're COBRA eligible, COBRA may be a better option for you, may provide a better plan at a comparable or better premium. Why is that? Well, if you work for a company with a bunch of Gen X or Gen Y people and you're a boomer like me, well, what happens? This is all based on age, right? Plans through the Affordable Care Act are based on age. The average age of your former employer may be lower than that. And if you don't qualify for premium tax credit, you're going to be looking at an HMO plan, high deductible, $9,200, and you may find that in some cases, it all depends, individually, but you may find that COBRA is a better option. Certainly would likely be a better plan with lower out-of-pocket expenses, but it would cost less than a plan through the Affordable Care Act if you don't get a premium tax credit. All right. Special election periods, household adjusted income. If it's less than 150% of that bracket I showed you, you can change plans or enroll in a plan at any point during the year. This ruling probably will go away in 2026, but it's available now. Otherwise, you can enroll in a plan, a special election period, if you've lost employer coverage. If the last day of employer coverage, let's say it was October 31st, you have to the end of the year to make a decision, right? 2 months. Why is that important? Well, you may decide to save on COBRA premiums for 2 months that since you have 60 days, you could skip paying for COBRA through the end of the year, right? If something happens to you and you get wheeled into the hospital during that 60 days, then you can get somebody to sign you up for COBRA retroactive to when your coverage ends. You have 60 days to enroll in coverage. The other important is if you move out of plan service area. Some plans are available in Dallas County or Dallas and Collin County, but not available in Denton County. that if you move to those areas, could be across the street. If you move from the east side of Midway Road to the west side of Midway Road, that may allow you to make a special election. However, your deductible and co-insurance, it starts over. So if you've had medical expenses, just know about that. Now, if you don't qualify for premium tax credit, or if you select a gold or bronze plan, you're going to have $9,200 out-of-pocket maximum, most likely in that range, which for most people is like, oh my God, what happens? How do you handle that? Or how do you handle, I was helping a family this week. Mother and 4 kids are going on a ski trip twice in December. They'll be out of network. What do? Well, you can get a low-cost accident plan. And again, this was the mother and 5 kids. I think it was like a couple $100 for $20,000 of accident coverage, which if somebody breaks a leg or knee, or, you go to some of the ski towns and there's all kinds of doctors that specialize in putting you back together so you can get back on a plane to Dallas or wherever you live. That's your best option. It's also a way during the year to reduce your risk of a high deductible plan, because you're much more likely between now and when you are on an employer plan to end up in an accident than coming down with some brand new debilitating disease. Okay, I talked a lot about plans through the Affordable Care Act, healthcare.gov. Other states like Georgia, Florida, Georgia, California, other states where I'm licensed have state-based exchange that operates similarly, probably not as smoothly in my experience, but they work upon the same federal poverty guidelines. It's just that they're managed by the state. What do you do? Or since the premium tax credits were expanded in about it would have been about 2019, some of these other options really were not. They weren't as good. They weren't as rich. They were more. They had more holes. MediShare is an awesome program that I was on for 5 years before joining Medicare. MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry program. It uses a PPO network, so you have access to PPO doctors in the hospitals. It does not cover pre-existing conditions. A combination of MediShare and an accident plan can reduce your risk, and if you don't qualify for premium tax credit, it could be a good option for you. Short-term health plans, you can do these for 3 months, up to 3 months. If you end up with, let's say, break a leg or something like that, these are underwritten, so you wouldn't be able to renew it after 3 months. You might be able to renew it if you're lucky, but I've had cases where a client, she broke an ankle, was on a short-term plan. I warned her, I'm not, but she was on a lifetime trip to Chiang Mai while traipsing through Asia. She had no coverage. She ended up getting her ankle set in Asia, but she wasn't eligible when she got back because she was on a short-term plan. So there's risks in that. Employer health plans in COBRA and Medicare and plans through the Affordable Care Act are the only plans that cover any and all pre-existing conditions. And probably that's not going to change. There's going to be changes in individual plans, and there'll probably be overall changes in healthcare in the company, but I'm not going to speculate on the future other than, change is inevitable in this field. It always changes, but 2025, not so much. Another strategy for job seekers. We're so used to thinking, because we've been on employer plans all our life, that everybody has to be on, when you go to apply, everybody has to be on the same plan. It's not so. Let's say you have one household member who has a chronic condition that's expensive, or an expensive med. Or let's say you have a college student who is in another state, or is out of the area. Well, you can what I refer to as unbundle your health insurance so that this person with a chronic condition or this person living out of state be on a different plan. Plans through the Affordable Care Act, remember, their network is very geographically targeted to specific counties, or maybe with one exception, the entire state. But you know, that's where you have to be creative. But don't think that everybody has to be on the same plan. This is how you reduce cost and reduce risk. Now, another strategy. We're all in sales, right? If you're going for a sales job, or let's say a mid or upper level job, a hiring manager, when you get to the point of a job offer, they may appreciate the fact that you negotiate. Well, as hard as that is for people, how can you throw something out there so that they can say yes or no? All they can do is say no. They're not going to, but they'll probably respect you for trying. Well, how much do you think COBRA premium is? A lot, right? For a family of 4, it's a couple $1,000s. Let's say they have a eligibility period of 2 months from the first of the following month. You could throw out there, and this is usually something a hiring manager can approve, can sneak through. The hiring manager could offer to pay for COBRA or your ACA plan until you're covered by the plan. You throw it out there. All they can do is say no. That could be worth $4,000 or $5,000. But if you're going to do it, explain to the hiring manager that that is taxable income. So gross up what you need so that that's not covered. So, you know, if it's $5,000 in premiums, say, hey, I need 6 or 7 to be whole. You know, if it's within the budget or within the hiring manager's prerogative, they may do that just to seal the deal. It's again another strategy, healthcare strategy for people in job search. I've talked about Roth conversion. Think about that for 2024. You can still do that during the month of December. Do it while your tax bracket is low. For next year, look at it at the end of the year. But this is how you can possibly, quite possibly, if you have money in a 401k or IRA, how you can, without knowing or having current income, it's a way that you can qualify for these incredible subsidies and cost sharing subsidies and premium subsidies that aren't going to be as rich in 2026. Now that's projecting, but I'm pretty sure of that. Okay, also ACA, if you're vacationing or traveling outside of the US, don't assume that employer plan or plans through the Affordable Care Act are going to cover you. Even on Medicare, there is a little bit, on some plans, there is a little bit of international coverage if you go outside of the United States. But you have to, they won't let you out of the hospital and they won't let you out of the country until you pay the bill. I've got all kinds of stories I can relate to people in scuba diving accidents or coming down with serious problems ending up in a hospital. And yeah, hospitals are less expensive than most other states, but it could still be a very large 5-figure bill. You know, you may not have that much you may not have that much spending power on all your credit cards to pay that before you loan, but you're held captive until you can. International medical coverage, you know, for a month, you know, for the typical cruise or vacation is less than $200 per person. And this, you know, when you think of the cost involved of an international vacation, it's pretty cheap in the greater scheme of things. What travel agents usually sell is very minimal because they want to put all the money in the vacation package, which is where they make the money. Okay, again, I mentioned this earlier. Man, if you need any surgeries at all or have any expensive imaging or something, get it done in 2025 because this is all going to be higher in 2026. And again, this is not forever. You're going to end up with a better option on employer plan. Don't waste your money or don't waste your time, because time is money, return on time invested. Put your time into things that count. This is something that counts. I covered a lot of ground. It'll be on YouTube. You can watch this, but this is something that can really impact not only your finances, but also your life. It can improve your life. If you've been holding off on surgeries because you're working so hard for the man, and now you find yourself in job transition, well, think about rearranging your priorities. This is the time to do it.
Mike, if
Yep.
we met our deductible in 2024, should we go ahead and try and get that surgery done before the end of this year?
Good
Rather
luck, because all the surgeons will be in fail. It's tough at this point. If it isn't, unless you've already got somebody lined up that you should call and find out. Absolutely. I'm going to go through Medicare for those of you that are 65 plus or have been on Social Security disability income for 24 months and are eligible for Medicare. Part A, if you've worked 10 years or 40 quarters, you paid for Part A. Don't let anybody tell you it's free. You paid for it. That's all those payroll deductions. Part B in 2025 will be $185 a month. That's up from $174.70. We talked about IRMA. A and B cover 80% of your medical expenses. What about that other 20%? That's what will bankrupt you if that's all you have. All right. 20% of unlimited with no cap on it. That can, healthcare costs are the number one reason for bankruptcy. And that's even though hospitals write off tons of expenses every year. Cover the remaining risk either with a Medicare supplement plan and a Part D plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. That's how you cap this risk. And I'll go into more, I'm not going to put a lot of time into that, but I can explain this. It's if you are coming up on your 65th birthday or 64, you're going to know that you're soon be eligible for Medicare because you are going to get more junk mail and propaganda and robodials and solicitations, even illegal knocks on your doorstep when you turn about 64. And in some cases, it's happening earlier.
Just a side question, out of curiosity, I don't know how many people online this may apply to. I say that you see all these Medicare ads, come up during this time of year, they're open enrollment. I've never seen one on a supplemental plan that all advertise Advantage.
Yes.
Is that because they make more money that way?
Absolutely. There's two reasons. First of all, the government wants to promote it because they don't have enough doctors to go around. With a Medicare supplement plan, you can see any doctor in the country that accepts Medicare. 95% still do. So that's how you get access to the best specialists. I'm in the MyChart program at Cleveland Clinic, UT Southwestern, and a couple of other places in case I ever need it. I've already lined up the best people for any conditions I have. And you want to do the same thing. You can do that with the with the Medicare supplement plan. With the Medicare Advantage plan, remember, you've got doctors retiring, all us baby boomers getting older, more decrepit, more expenses. It's going to be harder and harder to get in to see a doctor. First, you have to see the doctor's PA. Then if it's bad enough, you get an appointment to see the doctor, and then the doctor will have to get approved to see a specialist. That could take months. I've had that happen with clients that couldn't get a broken arm, couldn't get in to see the doctor, and then couldn't get in to see a specialist for a couple of weeks dealing with broken arm pain because they were on a Medicare Advantage plan. The Medicare supplement plan, you can, when you first enroll in Part B, and I'm getting down the weeds, but I want you to know when you first sign up for Part B, you have 6 months to enroll in a Medicare supplement plan. After that, you have to answer medical related questions. and can be rejected based on your health at that time. So that's the best time to enroll in a Medicare supplement plan. You can always move to a Medicare Advantage plan in the future, but you're going to pay more in premiums for the benefit of low and certain medical expense risk. Next year, Medicare supplement, and there's no difference between a company, a Medicare supplement plan G from, let's say, Blue Cross, United Healthcare, or Humana, or anybody else, other than what you pay in premiums, because the benefits are all standardized. But next year, your only out-of-pocket medical expense risk is $258. $258. So the first or second time you see a doctor for the year, that's it. It's great. And you can stay on that the rest of your life. Yeah, you'll have a birthday present in terms of the premium increase, but you're locked into low and certain out-of-pocket medical expenses. Now, contrast that, and you can see every doctor, contrast that with the Medicare Advantage plan that, again, I talked about access to doctors, more critical as you get older if you have a pre-existing condition. You never know when you develop something major that would keep you from, you just don't know. If you haven't had a medical issue in your life, sooner or later you're going to have one. When that happens, and it may be because of medicines prescribed, it may be because of you're overweight, it could be any number of things, but you would not qualify for a Medicare supplement. Unless the premiums get to like $300 a month. And that's when you're in your mid to late 70s or 80s or even 80s. So my internet connection is unstable. Maybe I'm just unstable. So Medicare, again, it's an incredible deal now. But our children, urge them to procreate so that they and their children, your grandchildren will be able to continue to pay into Medicare for us. But no, it's going to change. We're going to end up, it's a great deal now. It's liable to change. I'll just leave it at that. What's new? Here's Inflation Reduction Act. This was an election year act. And it's been touted $2,000 maximum that anybody on Medicare will pay for prescriptions. Well, not necessarily so. What's not told behind the scenes is that the Medicare companies in the past are responsible for 10% of the cost of the medications. Next year, they're responsible for 30% of the medications. Who do you think pays the difference? We do. What's happened? Well, some medications, the expensive ones, have gone non-formulary. What does that mean? They don't count. You pay full retail price. Now, maybe you can find some medications for less in Canada, or using GoodRx or some of the other discount programs, but you really have to pay attention to this. And also, all of the Medicare Advantage and Part D drug plans are higher in premium, higher in out-of-pocket expenses for Medicare Advantage plans. And they've trimmed back some of the things that are advertised, like so much dental, so much vision, free hearing aids, free meals, free transportation. Those are all being trimmed back. Why? Well, first of all, they've known for a long time that the insurance companies would have to start showing productivity gains. Well, they've had record Medicare Advantage companies have had record profits for the last half dozen years because they've used machine learning and artificial intelligence to know how to game the system, right? Well, now they're having to pay the piper because it's harder and harder to do that. But they've known all along that they've had to make changes. Also, this is a result of what happened in 2022. This all is based on 2 years ago. What was that time? We were coming out of COVID. So all of a sudden, all these claims are coming up. The reduction in reimbursement to the Medicare companies has kicked in. So the result is that the extra pennies are being trimmed back. Out-of-pocket maximums are being increased. Co-pays may be increased, but not just about every plan has changed. So if you're turning 65, turn off your phone or get one of these robo-dial squelchers, or maybe 2 or 3. And I actually have a one client who every time he gets a piece of junk mail about Medicare, he scratches out his name and address and he puts return to sender. So the sender has to pay for it, but it's kind of a waste of time. He's obviously not a job seeker. Just know that all your info is out there. Every bank and everything, your information is sold. They have scientifically known how to squeeze information out of you. And they know when you're turning 65. I talk a little bit about vision and dental. Don't waste your money on individual vision or dental insurance. High premiums, you'll have a 1-year waiting period. Most dentists, most successful dental practices, they don't need to join a network. They don't need to contract with a network. They have plenty of patients. So what do? I say, yeah, we'll submit your paperwork to your insurance company, but you've just spent maybe $40 per person per month for dental insurance with a 1-year waiting period that covers nothing but cleaning and x-rays. After a year, $1,000 in major benefit for things like extractions or fillings. You have to spend $2,000 to get a $1,000 worth of benefit, and you've just paid $40 per person for a year before you can use it. So dental insurance individual is not a good option. Cobra Dental, if it's available, is a good option. Also, dental savings plans. Walt and I have one. They are a good option. They're not insurance, but it's like renting a network for a year. And there is no waiting period. There's no maximum benefit. You pay the network negotiated rate as long as you see a dentist that's in the network. There's over 40,000 dentists, believe it or not, in the DFW area, greater DFW area. They're in one dental network or another. Also, I'm a certified medical travel professional, big deal, but I have clients, expat clients in South Central America, Mexico, Europe, and then, people that go on cruises, that type of thing. You can find very affordable and first-class dental work in Mexico. I actually had dental work done in Costa Rica in August, and it's better than anything I've ever had in the U.S. Life insurance, don't even think about it until you're employed. Okay, you won't get very much and it won't be very good. No life insurance, and again, if you sign up for group life insurance, group term life insurance through your employer, and that's all you have, that is a guaranteed way of making Uncle Sam your biggest beneficiary, right? So, especially when you're looking at changes in inheritance laws and changes in taxes, consider some life insurance that you purchase on your own based on your health. Anybody, even me, can get life insurance. You may not like the cost, but it's better than ending up at age 60 with no life insurance if you need or want to pass that on. But you can also purchase what is referred to as hybrid life insurance, that if you die, you have the death benefit to pass on to your heirs, but you can also use a large percentage of that to help pay for long-term care expenses that you may incur as you get older. And that it taps into that death benefit. But again, you don't want to apply until you're employed. Now, finally, meds. How do you save on meds? Always check the cost of your meds at GoodRx. A great app. It's the #1 health app on the iTunes store and Android store. And compare.
How do they make money?
They
I use them and I think it's great.
Yeah.
And sometimes the discount at GoodRx app is more than my negotiated rate through my corporate plan. I figured out how to make money. I don't get any ads.
They have great algorithms. They also, there's what are called PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, CVS Caremark. is the largest one. Walgreens has one. Cigna has one. They control about 80% of the meds that go into employer plans and into individual plans. And they set the prices, and there's rebates involved. It's a real shady business that hopefully someday will get identified. But that's why there may be generics that are more affordable, but they never show up on employer plan or individual plan. Why? Because pharmacy benefit managers are kicking back money for certain plans. Okay. So GoodRx has kind of found a way around that. They'll also sell your information. So they'll sell your information to the people that are advertising Medicare and that type of thing. Also, Amazon's becoming a big player, and they deliver if you're a Prime member. Cost Plus Drugs, Mark Cuban's company, another alternative. Patented medications are cheaper in Canada. Januvia, Xarelto, some super expensive meds. Write down this number, 866-872-3784. If you're on expensive medication, call them up. The cost may change based on the US Canadian dollar and what it costs in Canada, but many of the most prescribed medications that are expensive and patented are less expensive in Canada. And this company, Canadian Med Store, it's actually a Florida-based company that will 2-day ship from legitimate Canadian pharmacies. The same medications from the same companies that are made in the same manufacturing, same manufacturing plants as what is distributed in the US. Finally, especially while you're in transition and low coverage, you know what a Boolean search is, I'm sure, but the name of your medication and then the word prescription assistance program in quotations. Every company will have some kind of a prescription assistance program. You and your doctor will have to fill out some information. But again, this is good time invested because it can save you a ton of money if you're on some expensive medications. And finally, what my grandparents used to do, buy a pill cutter. You know, if you're on a 10 milligram dose and there's a 20 or 40 milligram dose, you can save a lot of money and stretch your meds out. Your doctor you have to notify your doctor why you're doing it. You want to make sure they put in the medical records why you're all of a sudden into a higher dosage. It's not for medical reasons. And so you can say, no, nothing wrong with it. Do that even when you're back in your job. Final words, risk, health risk. How much can you afford to risk versus how much you can afford to spend? And if your spouse is used to making all the decisions in the world, and that spouse is a tightwad, and they're making decisions about insurance or premiums, or you call healthcare.gov, they're going to automatically go drill down to the lowest cost plan because they know people like to buy cheap, and that's cheap is easy to explain. Reducing risk, not so much. So don't let adult kids or people that don't understand risk make the decision for you. Think about all the strategies I talked, or go back and watch the recording. Think about these things. There are things you want to do. It'd be a darn shame if and I've had clients that didn't sign up for insurance, right? Left a wife and 4 kids, had a massive heart attack. Boom. Nothing, no coverage, huge hospital bill. Wife was responsible for it, that she negotiated. Don't let adult kids make decisions, or don't make decisions based on cheap. And also don't be too proud to ask for help. You don't know this stuff. I don't know anything about, chemical engineering or banking. And, it's like, I have dated information in terms of marketing and general management, that kind of thing. The last 21 years have been insurance. I know this stuff, but what you don't know, you don't know. What you don't know could put your family at risk. So do what you do best and return on time invested. Spend your time on a job search and know the difference between opinion and expert advice. your neighbor, or even your spouse, they may have opinions and they may say, well, this is good. That's an opinion. But advice, you have to be certified and you have to be licensed to give advice. You're taking a risk if you're too proud to ask for help, for real advice. So I'm going to leave with that. Hopefully you got something out of this. Love to do this. I look forward to this all year. This gives me a reason to get up in the morning and feel good about myself. So I'm putting my information on here. I'll be happy to answer any questions in the time remaining, but feel free to reach out to me anytime, call a text. This time of year, I'm up to my eyeballs, but I will find it. If I'm on the phone, I'll answer it. Like I said, Pavlov's dog. Ring. Oh, hello. This is Mike Chapman. How can I help you? If I'm on the phone, I get the message. I call back as soon as I can, or I'll answer text message as soon as I can. And this number is my office line, my cell phone. If you go to the website, you'll find the cell phone number on there. And thank you very much. I'll take questions.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions in the room? Jennifer?
I had a question. I'm on COBRA right now, and yes, it is extremely expensive. I had that hip surgery in January. So, anyhow, my question is, I'm looking at January and I'm thinking, I don't want to pay any more COBRA. Am I penalized for not having health insurance? I'm not saying it's a wise idea, but what if I do not have the choice, or I do not want to pay for not just COBRA, but any health insurance until I'm employed again?
Well, let me talk about penalties. Penalties were part of the Affordable Care Act for like the first year and a half, 2 years. Then there's no penalties for not having insurance coverage. However, and this is my it's not meant to be a rebuttal, but if you can follow some of the strategies, you may find that you can at least provide some level of coverage until you are employed. And then at that point, when you're eligible for benefits, the employer is going to kick in and pay for half of it. In Dallas County and Tarrant County, you have public hospitals. You pay according to ability to pay, and also your money in the bank. The first thing anybody in the accounts receivable department will do is run a credit check on you, and you pay according to your ability to pay. And also, you will wait to see a doctor and a specialist unless it's a life or death emergency. There are satellite offices that can help, but that's not insurance, and there is a time constraint. You can suck a lot of time up that could be better spent finding your next job.
Any other questions in the room? Well, any questions online? All
right.
Mike,
Thanks again.
Excellent information. Watch out. All right. Few reminders, careerdfw.org, one-stop shopping for everything regarding your job search. One of my favorite features is the calendar. Click on calendar, everything, and agenda view. This is the calendar view. You can see everything that's coming up, and this is what the agenda view looks like. No, this is the agenda view, sorry. Did you add a slide? I recommend that you go here every Sunday night. Take a look at everything that's coming up for the next 5 days, Monday through Friday. As you can see, there's a lot. There's 8 to 10 things every single day. Pick and choose, fill your week with the various networking groups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Really, really good resource.
just keep in mind that a lot of things next week are canceled because of the Thanksgiving holiday. So I think I've updated most of them, but I haven't checked all of them. So if there's one that you see on the calendar, you might reach out to the moderator and make sure it's going to happen, or just show up and, you know, use the old college rule. If they don't show up in 10 minutes, class is canceled. And then another great resource is the Career USA YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/Career USA, everything that Jeff Morris has been doing for the last umpteen years, or most of it anyway, has been recorded. And you can go out there and do a search. This particular group, the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, is right here. Don't click on the video here because it'll start playing the most recent one. Click on View Full Playlist, and then you'll get this. And this is in reverse chronological order. So most recent at the top. And this is searchable, but you can go through and if you missed one, rewatch it, obviously. There's also some other playlists. Here's the LinkedIn Tuesday playlist. If you missed one of those, here's Walt's interviewing success workshop, etc.
Okay, I just want to mention the one on the upper left, when Jonathan was talking about the videos that he was watching, you can find those 13 videos that were recorded during the COVID time period between Mark McDonald and myself. And incidentally, we just lost Mark McDonald this week, a great person, a great individual. Anyway, that's where the 13 videos can be found.
Thank you, Walt. And here we go. Next Tuesday, LinkedIn Tuesday is not meeting for sure. The pit crew not meeting next Wednesday for sure. And with respect to this group, no meeting because it's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. Do not show up here. You'll be all alone on Thanksgiving. Week after that is the first meeting of the month. So it is open forum. Please bring all your questions and we will collectively work together to resolve and answer all your questions. And then the following week, background checks with Mike Coffey. Interesting conversation about how to prepare for those and clean up your social profiles and such things. And just a reminder that we're meeting at Jason's Deli after today's meeting. I hear Jeff Morris is going to join us again. And before we end, make sure you save the chat. Click on the ellipses in the chat, save it. Also, I will provide the chat as an attachment to the email that I send as a follow-up to this meeting. There's a lot of good information in there. I suggest that you scan it when you get it.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, for those who might be interested, on Monday, 2 o'clock at Career Care, you can find it on the calendar or the link. I'll be giving a presentation on selling ourselves in job interviews if you're interested in participating.
I've seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's good. I'll be there. Thank you all. And that's it. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week. No, we won't.
You got me. You got me.
2 weeks. See you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt and Walt.
Thanks, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving all.
Thanks, Peter.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.